But anyway, this was the decree. So with having no choice, I kept on talking because I felt I was doing everything constructive. Then what happened was, while I was going over the bridge, this happened twice, at the same time, basically in the morning, that they hired somebody, a hitman. He spoke to me in Hebrew, he took out his gun and he said, if you will not close the hotline, you're going to lose your head. In Hebrew he said it. The first time I thought it was a joke, I kept on going. I went to the police to make a report. The second time I saw it was serious business. But the problem was that the first time it never got any place because the police with the liaisons, they just, made a report and they never even called me. So the second time I went over to the Manhattan side and I begged to the officers in the 7th precinct and I cried to them. I said, do me a favor, make a report. So I said, where did it happen? On this side of the street or on the bridge or on this side? I said, it happened on the Brooklyn side. But if you're not going to do it, it's not going to be noted because over there they know already that don't listen to Rabbi Rosenberg. He carries no weight, no nothing. Please make a report. So he was so nice and he did me the favor, he made the report. 2 days later, I call him up, what's happening? He says, well, because you live in the 90th precinct region, they're going to take care of it. Now, when they never bothered calling me, I called them. There was no response. They said, as long as you can't pinpoint somebody who did it to you, we can't go chasing the whole world. And this is how it quieted it down. I had to close the hotline. I had no protection, no nothing. I closed it down. I gave my last speech because I'm being followed and threatened with guns. That's why I have to close. I gave this in English and in Hebrew. Now, because they did it with guns and they were afraid, that it shouldn't come out, they put it into the newspaper that because he closed down, we are stopping all fights and provoking against him. That's all. It doesn't say that whatever it says there is fine now. In other words, he still has no place to go to pray, but we're not instigating anymore, and the children shouldn't hit him, and nobody should. In other words, that's all they took off. So this is the story up till now. What happened was that before Yom Tov, it was closed for 2 months. Before Yom Tov, all I did is I said, Good Yom Tov for Klal Yisrael. That means happy holidays for the Jewish people. Immediately I got a call, if you don't take that off, we're going to kill you. And there was text messages going around, Rabbi Rosenberg is going to open, Rabbi Rosenberg is going to open. Because the people, had 17,000 listeners and everybody was happy with it. I gave them constructive advice. I told them where to call, not to go to the 90 and the 66 precinct, but to call the 800 number from the child abuse. And guess what? There were 5 arrests coming out of there now. So they didn't like that. So what they did is, on the 4th day of Sukkot, I was shot. With what? Now there's a negotiations. He was shot. One thing, it wasn't a bazooka bubble gun. It was either a gun, but because it came from a car, the angle wasn't perfect, or was a BB gun, or was a stone. Whatever it was somebody tried to shoot me. Now, I went into the police a few days later because it was the Yom Tov and I didn't feel good, and they told me the same thing again. If you don't know who did it, we can't do anything about it. And they just put it down on the record that I was threatened or whatever, and that's it. Okay. Vicky had seen some of the things that are going on, and she called me down. And if it wasn't for her, I probably would have ran away from the whole community, because here we're talking about a closed hotline, and what do you want from me now? It's all over with. What are you doing now? So Vicky came down. She was very nice, and she set up a whole demonstration in front of the 90th precinct, and this is what you probably saw on another video. And because of that, the police already called out the congregation people, and they said, wait a minute, you told us Rabbi Rosenberg doesn't carry any weight. I see he's starting to carry weight. It was in the Daily News. So now my question is, and if I don't carry weight, do you have to carry weight in order to be protected? The next thing is the DA's office, who I was, Mr. Charles Hines, I was there when it happened, all this, I went up to the DA as well. And they gave me, the runaround. Now she called up one of my friends and she says, wait a minute, what's it, Rabbi Rosenberg? So my friend tells her, Rabbi Rosenberg, he's in the coffin, he's waiting to be buried. She says, you mean it? He says, well, not exactly, but the way you gave him protection, that's where he would have winded up. So I want to first thank you, Vicky, very much If it wasn't for that little support, I probably would have had to run away. And if I run away, nothing would be. The only thing is the pedophiles will now get out, because in the middle of a war, you can't break. Now, what happened this week, I came down yesterday also. I was so confused. I thought I was supposed to be yesterday. I came down, and I went back at night, and I came back again. So Vicky wanted to know, why are you so confused? I told her, I'll tell you the truth. Somebody had put into the newspaper, not the newspaper, on CBS TV. You can all look it up, it's on here. And that's about 10 minutes of what's happening in the Jewish community with sex crimes and other things that I was talking about in the hotline. Somebody, a few people there, they admit certain things. So these people think that I'm behind this. So now they had a decree in the shul saying that if anybody kills Rabbi Rosenberg, he's going to go straight to heaven. And somebody told me that when he heard this in shul, he asked them, will we get the same treatment as those people who blow themselves up to kill a Jew? You know, they tell them whatever else they're going to get in heaven, which I don't want to say here because of the respect of you people. So the guy says to him, don't worry what you're going to get, just do it. So I was so confused, I figured it's yesterday, I'll come down yesterday. Now, I have nothing to do with that CBS, but I want to tell you something. This thing is showing and it's proving that people are starting to come out from the cracks. They're not afraid anymore. Okay. So in the beginning, we thought that we are fighting pedophiles. We are wrong. We are wrong. You know who we're fighting with? We're fighting with rabbis, community leaders, that get money, cold cash, to protect the pedophiles. And this is what I wanted to first say before we start. Now I'm going to take another 5 minutes to start what I wanted to say. Where is the protection, and why are people so negligent to come out with the story? That's the two questions that every normal person would ask, and we also ask ourselves. The answer is, at this point, there is no protection whatsoever. The police are supposed to be protecting us. The only problem is the police have what they call liaisons. And these liaisons, they run the show. You couldn't get into the police station. When I went, they said I went 3 times for the Daily News. I was there 9 times. 6 times it went into the garbage can. And you know what? When I told them I was shot, they put down that I was threatened. The terminology. Why? Because the liaisons tell them, don't worry about Rabbi Rosenberg. He doesn't carry any weight. The police, let's say, I'll give you an example. In 66 Precinct, which is in Borough Park, the biggest Jewish ultra-Orthodox community, there is a police liaison. His name is Berish Freilich. He's on the NYPD that he threatened a woman. He's going to kill her if she doesn't take a divorce. He's still in the New York State Police Office, and he is a liaison. How? You figure it out yourself. And he's on the NYPD list. I'm not telling you anything. His name is Berish Freilich. My friend had a misfortune that his child was unfortunately on a hitchhike, 3 blocks. He was molested bad. And he called up, he used to listen to my hotline, he called up the 66 Precinct, he was arrested. When they arrested him, an hour later he calls up to my friend and he says, ha ha, I'm free. He says, how? He says, Berish Freilich took me out. And he even tore up the arrest. It's all torn up. So he calls me up what to do. I said, listen, I gave you the 800 number. The next morning he calls up the child abuse. The man was arrested, and he's now out on $250,000 bail. Meanwhile, other 3 or 4 people came saying that he also molested them. So now the man is having problems. But this is our system over there with the police. You can go in and take and tear up an arrest.